You good?
Yep.
Y'all good down there? Y'all ready? I'd like to call the planning commission meeting for Tuesday, June 24th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Josh,
Here.
Kevin,
Here.
James,
Here.
Candy, Donnie.
Here.
Before we get approval of the agenda, we're going to add number 5 to the planning commission piece of it, and I think it's the waste management
Correct, yes.
discussion. It's just a discussion, so we'll
That
add
was, that was included after we sent out the initial packet.
Okay,
So,
was
yes.
it on this one here? I didn't see it.
Yes.
I had printed out my earlier one, so. if
Yeah,
it's
the
on-
earlier one does not have it on there. This is the new one that was printed out today.
Oh, if it's on there, then we don't have to add it, if it's on there.
It's on there.
The only thing, if I may, Mr. Chairman, is to add or do an amendment of the rezone request number 2 on public hearing and on the planning commission number 2 as well. The acreage was sent to us in a letter with DCI. And in that letter, it states that the amount of acreage they're wanting to rezone is 19.2, which was included in the synopsis of our rezone. That was incorrect. It is 9.2. So I want you guys to be aware of that.
9.2 rather than the 32.5.
Well, the 32 was the overall acreage, but it was in the staff report.
Okay,
It shows part of the 19.2, but it should be 9.2.
very good, 9.2.
Yes.
With those adjustments, I'll ask for an approval of tonight's agenda.
I move we approve as shown in the adjustments.
I will second.
A roll call, please.
Kevin,
Yes.
Donnie,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
And approval of the May 27th minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from May 27th meeting.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Donnie,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
At this time, I'll open it up for citizen comment. If we have any comments from citizens on anything that's not on the agenda tonight, please step to the podium, state your name, address, and try to keep it less than 3 minutes. Anybody online?
No.
We will move on. No old business, no new business. I am going to open up the public hearing, call it to order, and on the first one, it's rezone request. The applicant is request rezone located at 581 South Barrington Road. The rezone request is from R3 to C2 on .97 acres. Do we have any citizen comment on item number 1? Seeing none, anybody online?
No.
I will close item number 1 on the public hearing. Item number 2 is a rezone request. Applicant is requesting to rezone a vacant piece of land located north of Fletcher Avenue and west of Industrial Drive. The rezone request is from C1 and agricultural to industrial, and that is located on the 9.2 acres. This time I will open it up for public discussion. Anybody online? No. I will close item number 2. I will adjourn public hearing. We have no Board of Zoning and Adjustments. I will call to order the Planning Commission meeting, and we will go start with item number 1, request for zone. Applicant requesting to rezone located at 581 South Barrington. The rezone request is from R3 residential to C2 general commercial located on approximately .97 acres. Parcel number is included. I will open it up for citizen comment. Nobody online? I will ask for a motion on this one, and then we'll discuss. Commission.
Just very quickly, this is the property the city owned, has entered into the negotiations from the single family residential, and the owner's requested a change in zoning to general commercial as part of the land purchase agreement, North Rock.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, open it up for discussion. Who's got questions on that parcel, if any? Seeing none, roll call, please. This is for approval from the rezone from residential 3 to C2.
James,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Donnie,
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
This is moving to Cal.
Correct. Moving to Cal. Item number 2 is a rezone request. The applicant is requesting to rezone a vacant piece of land located north of Fletcher Avenue and west of Industrial Drive. The rezone request is from C1, light commercial and agricultural, to industrial, located on 9.2 acres. The parcel number is included there. I'll open it up for citizen. Not seeing anybody online.
No.
Nobody online. I will ask for a motion on this one before we discuss.
I move we approve the rezoning.
Second.
Okay, how about discussion, commission? Any questions on this one?
Just, clear, I've got lots of sheets with lots of colors.
Commissioner Boards, let me just explain this real quick.
Okay.
This is owned by Lip Spaces LLC. Part of it in this area is both zoned light commercial and agriculture. That's where you see the pink and the green. That's kind of unusual in this city, but that is what is currently zoned, and they're looking to do an expansion site for their property. One thing I will make note, if you look at the future land use shows residential commercial neighborhood, and within the definition of that, it talks about a mix of residential, non-residential, excluding industrial uses. However, this being part of their land, we reviewed it, and as far as their expansion goes, staff does recommend approval of this.
Thank you, Brad. Any discussion from commission? Did that answer your question on that, James?
That's just, sorry. It just leaves like an unusual, so the green, I take it as agriculture,
Correct.
and the pink,
Light commercial.
and they want to put an industrial in the middle of it?
You want to expand it to non-industrial, yes.
And that is the shaded white?
Correct.
That's just the shaded white. That's all they're doing is that shade right there.
And
Well, I say it's purple on here. It's this white on the far zoning request. That's the piece that they're actually rezoning.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I will let you know. Chase from DCI is here. He's the one that presented, their company's presented the letter to us for the request. K&K is here to be represented as well, if you had any discussions with them.
Anything, Donnie, you good?
I'm good.
Good. Josh?
Good.
Good. James, you good now?
Good.
Okay, I will I will ask for roll call on approving the rezone of item number 2.
Donnie,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes.
This goes to Cal. Correct?
And you all do not have to stick around. Okay, you won't. You can go home. But you can stay too. No, you're good. Okay, yeah, thank y'all. Item number 3 is a discussion and review of the proposed master street plan.
Okay, I'll let you guys know. This was something that I printed out a map, and then it's back there in the conference room, and several of you guys have come by and took a look at this. As Madeline puts on what we're looking at, I gave you 3 different options to look at, and I'll also sent this over to our city engineer and maybe to explain. But the first one is probably our priority that we want to see changed on the master street plan. This is Clint's Road. This is going north off of Henry DeTonti Boulevard up to Artemani because of a project that's coming in. So this is definitely something we'd like to amend to put on the master street plan. And I know several has come by, Candy being one of them. I know she's not here, but several has come by and marked this as well as we've discussed this. So wanted to get this out in front of you guys to take a look at it. The next one, if you don't mind, Madeline, this is part of the master street plan currently. The one that's highlighted says needs relocated. That's going right through property lines. And one of those properties we did a rezone or a lot split on. And so we had to do that and make that work. So we're actually going to try to relocate this particular part of the arterial to a different place. So that was another thing that was brought up And then Kevin kind of highlighted, go back one, I'm sorry. Kevin kind of highlighted the one at the bottom, going there from, I think that's Spinoto, going all the way across to Penalto as kind of an idea, and I might let him discuss that further.
So on that, half of that land right now is owned and developed by the Penaltos, which they've already started building houses on there. So the north of that is something that the city would eventually have to pay for the whole 30-foot road. Now, the other half would be a possibility because it has not been developed or sold yet. But my thing is that even a one that we'd want to address right now? Or would we want to do the one up off of Barriola and Liberty to make sure that that connects over to West Liberty? That kind of makes more sense to me on that east-west connection. But we can keep that in there for future. If it does happen, it's just, that's a big spread for the city to have to partake. Just a thought on there. Go ahead.
And let's do the last one. The last one, this is on the west side of town. And what you see here is you already have one street or one area that has a minor arterial road that's been assigned on the master street plan. There's a future one there as well that's not too far apart. This was something discussed with the Northwest Arkansas Regional Planning Commission as well, but having them close by each other, I feel like it's overdone a little bit, and might want to kind of tie one back a little bit and make the one that's more straight the main arterial that we look at. So once again, if you have questions, we'll try to answer them. Those were the kind of the three that was popped out. If you have more that you want to look at, once again, the map is back there to review. Zach is definitely here to help answer questions that we might have thoughts about or something, but these were some areas that we're looking at. Obviously going west, especially off towards the business park area that we're looking at is ideal as well. So your thoughts and discussion on this.
Yeah. What'd you have, Josh? I know you had something earlier. Can you go back on one? Go back one slide on there. Did you have it on that one?
Yes, sir. So that bottom one going from Montegani to Penalto. What's your thoughts on removing that?
That was my thought, because I don't know the connectivity now. If we've got if we have the north one, the Liberty through the Billy's land, when and if that gets developed, we've got some connectivity there. It's just the only reason I'm saying is to maybe eliminate that. Come on, you can come up too. It's just because of the cost amount that's going to cost the city on that, which would probably be $2 to $3 million, if not more, because it's a 30-foot. It's a pretty good size road. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there are some construction challenges to try, given the vertical grade on one side or the other. I will say that Veneto has dedicated the right of way as part of their subdivision, so the city doesn't own 35 feet for that road today as part of their final plat. So a portion of that has already been acquired by the city. I will also say that we're about to start construction on the half street improvements in Montegani, and I'm utilizing that right away for drainage purposes.
Okay.
So before we give anything away, I want to make sure we protect those drainage ways.
Okay, very good. Very good.
So how do we delete that road and protect those, what you need?
We probably have to do a swap, right? Or how does it, I'd ask the legal, in giving away right away, if the city, the city has formal right of way right there. If we get rid of this master street plan, it might not be necessary. Is there a legal procedure to give that back to the local property owners, or?
Yeah, we could do it.
It's something to look at, but if we deed it back, it would have to be a swap into a drainage easement, because I definitely need that for drainage.
Would that be deeded back to the Veneto property owners, or would be deeded back to the Penalto?
Well, it was cut from the Veneto.
So it would be
right.
probably, yeah.
My initial reaction would be, it would go to the individual lots of Veneto that it adjacents to, but
Okay.
which would be the subdivision, but it is and will be utilized for drainage, so we need to protect that for sure.
Okay. We need to make sure that's notated that before we do anything with that. Go ahead.
So that's a projected street, right?
That's correct. Yeah, all these are projected.
So really, why do we even want to mess with it at this point? But why not hold it in our pocket till a later date?
Well, you can. It can be. But
I
I,
we
think,
could clean
I
it
think you
up.
were suggesting maybe improve that, let's take a look at Liberty first and really hammer that, get that before we touch anything through here, but I don't know why you couldn't just leave it.
Yeah.
The only issue with that would be is if an incidental comes in, we're gonna have to navigate that right-of-way dedication with an incidental or a track split, so if it's part of the master street plan, it's a requirement to dedicate the right-of-way for it, so I don't know. It's up to you guys.
yeah,
We don't have 612 drawn in there, do we?
that's way far west. That's not there yet. Yeah,
No, it's not
but it would be up close to this,
to that.
up top, that very top piece up by the commission word up there by the O. 612 is coming in somewhere through there. Because that's probably, what is that? What road is that up there? That's, Javello.
Yeah.
And that's just, and we're truly just still discussion on this. That's what we're doing on this. So that bottom one, either way, it does not bother, but I want whatever's best for us. I mean, if it's not going to be something we're going to project in the future on that, let's try to figure out the best way
Clean it up.
to clean it up. Yeah.
I'm for cleaning it up, removing it, deeding it back, and turning it into a drainage easement. And we'll focus efforts elsewhere.
Be a nice drainage. It could be a skateboard too. Skateboarding and drainage.
Concrete now, go right down
I'm just kidding. Okay, what other discussions on any other pieces? Could you go forward one, Madeline, please? There you go. So this white outlined, what is that white outline piece? Is that saying a projected?
Yeah, if you look what's outlined, when I try to get there is Harmon. If you look at Harmon, it is currently now a minor arterial.
Okay,
The one to the west that's dotted, that is the projected on the master street plan as a minor arterial. So you're going to have two very close minor arterial roads. And our thought process was to make the one that's projected to be the main arterial and then maybe change the other one up
Change Harmon to a collector.
to a collector.
thoughts?
You're talking about the furthest left dotted line,
Yes.
changing that to a collector or?
No, keeping that, because that'll be your main arterial because it's a straight north and south shot. The one on Harmon, which is currently a minor arterial, would be the one we'd want to change to a collector street.
And we kind of drew this one, when we did this, we kind of drew this one in. The farthest west is our quickest route to get to the south of Tontitown. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's outside the city limits, right? It being west of Harmon? Am I looking at that right?
That'd be, yes.
And the plan is going forward, like I said, this is something from the planning commission. I mean, they're wanting to tie everything down through Fayetteville too. So this is eventually gonna maybe find a way to hook into this.
So does Tontitown, since they did away with the plan area, is this even relevant to Tontitown? And the terrain going through there? Like, I don't even know if you can
Unless we start.
get a road through there.
Unless we start sucking up some land out there and saying, incorporating it into us.
That also runs, like right through some longtime Tontitown people's house. That road does.
Okay, something we can look at.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why if we don't have any control over plan area, I don't see how that's our deal. It's a county planning commission problem, so clean that one up too.
Yeah, so we can't enforce that, but if they do end up being a part of the city, then they will have to go based off the future land use plan.
So we can plan in a non-used,
You can plan it, you just can't enforce it right now, but yeah, if they end
Okay.
up wanting to incorporate or anything, then they'll have to abide by those restrictions you've already set forth. So it's kind of just doing
Gotcha.
it ahead of time.
that would
but-
help us down the road,
Right.
possibly. Maybe, yeah. And I don't know who's the landowners, who's the landowners, the big house.
One of them's the Davises, coming right off Wildcat Creek.
Chris got a call, and that is that big, beautifully structured right in the middle of it.
The terrain there is, like, I got friends that live off, over there close to Strawberry Plant. I mean, like, it would be not a very small feat for Tontitown to do that.
Sure.
This is probably 20 years down the road.
Or more.
I also see a big ravine. There may be a bridge that's gonna be super expensive, right?
Right.
Typically when it comes to these master street plans, especially when you're doing out and open green space, you want to at least have an idea where you want these alignments to be. Typically they're gridded. You see that Tontitown's weird because all our streets are pretty sinuous and curve around, but
So is what's funny for me, being in real estate, I typically don't go look, when I look at land or it's taking someone to look at land,
Sure.
I typically don't go out and look at master street plans and say, oh my gosh, that's the road going to be able to come right through there.
well, I do.
typically don't.
So it's a big deal to
Well,
me.
it is, it would be. I mean, it would be. I mean, it's drawing my eye to it now a little bit. So out there, I wouldn't, if it's not in the city limits, I wouldn't probably look at
Right.
it.
I think to legal's point, unless the subdivision comes in and wants to incorporate, it's kind of a moot point, but you need to kind of think about a future allocation for a street and where it's gonna be. Is most of Harmon right there in the county, or is it in the city? I think it's in the county too, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
I think generally, in this reference, I think you'd want to leave it, but you've just got two arterials going north-south, and you don't need to. One needs to be a collector, one needs to be the main arterial. I think that's the point. So which one would you rather be a collector? Which one would you rather be the main arterial?
Okay.
What do you think?
personally, I think Harmon serves the purpose.
Well, Harmon's built, right? The alignment's set, and so you could build a road off of Harmon. Harmon's also very curvy for a main thoroughfare. You referenced, future Northwest Arkansas regional plans. It might give the commission some insight if we can get some drafts of those to see what they're thinking as far as alignments, and that might help us set. I'd hate to turn this into a collector, this into an arterial, and it'd be the wrong street compared to what Northwest Regional's planning. So it just, might be a good one to think about.
What's your thoughts on the collector or the Harmon?
I mean, I think it kind of serves its purpose now, and I think building that road straight off of Harmon, cutting through all that is just impossibility. That's what I think.
Nothing's impossible.
Right. For the money, Tontitown has so many problems inside Tontitown, and now we're focused on something that is in the
Right.
county that's, from a financial standpoint, it is impractical.
There you go. That's a better word.
So, with that being said,
But
once
it doesn't matter, I don't guess.
once the big retailer in a few years gets out there in that area,
Just a
that's going.
comment, Brad and I were over when we were at the Northwest Arkansas Regional, and they were looking at how are you going to get around Northwest Arkansas with 1 million people? This was located where this actually road would tie back into Farmington. So I want you guys to know this. This would not be a Tontitown road. This would be basically something that would be a,
Regional asset.
Paid
So
for
they're
by-
trying to get off, they're
Pilots.
trying to move traffic, as you
State.
know, everything's going west. And so, they're looking at it 20 or 30 years, what's that going to happen? You're going to be old enough, he might
Still
retire,
be, he
and
might
could-
be the chairman then.
Yeah, he might be.
Nope.
You will be.
And that's the thing, is nobody predicted that Tontitown would be sitting at 8,000 residents 10 years ago. So you have to put a plan in place to project growth, whether it comes or not. So I say we leave it as is. Now, it's not a monetary or a rush to focus on when we've got other streets within our own city that we need to do, but I don't see, scratching the lines off just because, that's all it is right now. It's a dotted line.
I think, and I think there's a benefit to that in the sense that if should a development happen and there's a line there, the city has a little say in what that may look like in the future. right? If you just take the line off, that option goes away, so to speak. But it's in the planning area, so.
Saves taxpayer dollars too, but.
Does
That's fine.
master street plan, is that approved by city council?
I believe so.
So this is just my suggestion. So even on the proposal of the 412 stuff, that probably has to be approved by them as well. I think there needs to be more of a work session with the two groups, because if we're sitting up here talking about what we want and they come in blind to it, I'd rather knock it out on that front end piece of it, if you see what I'm saying. But it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't, either way, it doesn't matter, but if it's got to go to both, I'd rather have both people involved in the discussion.
Oh, sure.
And I'm glad we're able to put up at least a plan of what it would look like. And
Well, on that note too, if there's other east-west corridors or north-south corridors, I think Brad's open for input for.
I think we've put that on there, so I don't think there would.
Yeah, on the map's in the conference room, and that is definitely open for anybody to review and make comments.
Okay. Okay, any other discussion on this piece? So what's our next steps on this one then?
Here's what I would say. The main priority is going to be that Clint's addition. So I think if we do anything, I know, like I said, there's many things that we're definitely looking at, but that is definitely one that we need to get on the master street plan as soon as we can.
We might get the road done before we get the stoplight in. I'm sorry. But yes.
So
okay.
I would say, once again, this being discussion, I think going forward, we need to have some form of action. If we got to do a work session, do it as quickly as possible, because this is definitely something we need to get on the master street plan.
Any other discussion on roads?
And just last thing, going forward, sometime this week, I'll send out an invite, or at least a question, what's going to work for everybody, what this commission body wants to do, and definitely reach out to city council if they choose to do this as well.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, we'll move on to the proposed 412 overlay district map.
Okay, I know last commission, or maybe a month ago, you guys had this sent to you. This was something that was as a preliminary design of what this would look like on the overlay for all of 412. The first picture that you see in front of you is the overall landscape of 412, Henry de Tonte, with both 350 and 500 foot, the overlay district part of it. And then each section, you see 01, 01, 02, those are all individual. So as you see, if there's a particular section you want to look at, we can definitely do so. But I think we need to look at, are we wanting to look at 350? We want to look at 500. What would be your thought process on this?
Just my thought, I mean, I'm more adjusted to the 350. That's a good bit of property. Anything in that, I mean, if you look down here, I did some looking on like Dairy Queen. That whole lot is 211 foot. Their whole lot. So from the road, yes, from where their lot size. So that's going to be included in there. Yes. Then is it AutoZone that's next to them? I'm not sure what that. They were 211 as well. And then the antique stores, 228, 252. So, I mean, we're going 300. We're already extending it back beyond these. If you look at Dairy Queen, now we're going into the warehousing piece of it, which now those are not developed. So if we go 350, those would be included in there on those lots on there. And just over here on Clint's and 412, the corner lots in front of the apartments, those are 290 foot. those specific 2 lots right there. So those are, that just gives you an idea of those lots and what, those would already be included in it. You look at the Dairy Queens, what would be included behind them, because those 2 lots then would be required to do our overlay piece of it. And if you look at those warehouses that Matthias putting in, now they look really nice. You seen them? I mean, they really do. They look nicer than the typical blue panels that we put up. They do have some character to them. So my feel is a 350, but that's just one person, so.
How far do you think pavement maintenance sits back?
Well, it's not how far it sits back, it's the lot piece of it, and it's 1,080 foot, but they do not go all the way back. So they're probably going back, maybe 70% of their lot, is what they used.
So the
So it's-
350 would encompass the front of their building?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. So anything within that 350, you would have to use the overlay standards. Anything, if it's 351, you wouldn't have to use the overlay standard. But that captures a lot. I mean, that's a big piece, that's a big chunk that gets the visual piece of what we want for Tontitown when you come into town taken care of. Now, you're going to have stuff behind it possibly that doesn't have to adhere to that, the overlay piece of it, but they'll still have some restrictions on what they can build back there.
I'm in agreement with you. 350 looks like it would encompass everything that you're gonna see from the road, which is what we want.
Josh?
My initial thought was 500, but I always aim high all the time and get reeled back in with reasonable intel or advice. And Kevin, that's very reasonable.
Well, thank you.
So
Thank you.
350 is good.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think I'd heard, and this, don't quote me this, but I think at one point Candy was at the 350 piece too, when we were originally looking at it. So, but we'll have to ask her. I'm not trying to take words out of her mouth, but I think she was good with the 350. Donnie, what do you?
I like the 350.
You do like the 350? Okay. So with that being said, 350 looks like it. Now, are we looking at the design of the buildings too?
No, this is just accepting the overlay district.
Okay.
Step 2 would be this.
Any other discussion on that piece then? Y'all have anything out there? Anybody want to discuss with us? I mean, I'd like to at least, since we do get paid, I'd like to at least stay here an hour. I'm just kidding. If not, we'll move on to item number 5, which is the waste management discussion. And I'm not exactly, oh, there you go. It's got the code on there.
And I put out there for Josh if he wants to lead this discussion. I know this is something he definitely wanted to visit with. So you do have in your packet documents regarding the code and then comments that have been presented. So Josh, I will let you move forward.
10-4, thank you. This, I've been working on this, or tried to work on this for a long time, and just now starting to get traction on it. But I went through the 153, and any of that red pen was my thoughts and ideas, and gonna lean on Zach and Mark and Brad and people at Waste Smarter myself, because I honestly don't know if they're legal to do, or I have no idea. But I think waste management is here to stay, as bad as that sounds, and like we keep developing. I think we need to update the code. And then, so I put my thoughts and based it off a citizen deal that we got like 4 years ago or something.
Yep.
Kind of did that, and then in the packet it says these are the proposed amendments to codes and recommended legislation / laws to be brought forth to the city of Tontitown. This came from that steering committee I didn't come up with any of this, but I did in the red was my thoughts on it. On where, like, air, it says air quarterly, I put insert under F3, 153.086. That's just where I thought it could be inserted, but Zach, Mark, Brad, attorneys are gonna have to help with that. So I just wanted to get the ball rolling.
Okay,
I'm trying
and
to do
this
something.
definitely would be approved by city council, so this definitely would need to be a work session.
Right.
I feel on this one here, once we get it kind of nailed down. And I could foresee that being a lengthy session on just this piece here.
Right. And some of the stuff in red, we may not be able to do anything at all, and that's perfectly fine. Some things we probably can do.
Is that
So-
something we can look at before these and see which are yeses and nos? Which ones we can possibly do and which ones we cannot? And
Yeah,
then-
I can have a look at it.
And then eliminate those pieces out of it, and then that way we'll have a better idea of what we are able to
Right.
concentrate on. And I apologize, I didn't look at the new updated one, so I did not read this.
Oh, I mean, it's
I
a
apologize.
lot.
Yeah, I did not. I looked at the Friday's edition and did not look at this one. So I would love to be able to look at that, and that would be something we need to figure out when we could do a work session on that. I think that would be, that's I mean, that's a big one. But then once we get information back on what we can and cannot do, then we can decide on that piece of it. But at least the ball's rolling now. I think that's key. I think you are right. I don't know if they're going anywhere. So if we can try to be good stewards and trying to help our codes out, to try to help us out moving forward, I think that's the key to it. What other discussions on it? None? So the two rezones will go to committee of the whole for their discussion on July 2nd. And then after those discussions, those should go to city council for their approval or denial or table. Comments from staff?
No, I just want to thank everybody for, I say no, I want to thank everybody for their work and like I said, we do have documentation for you guys to look at. I thought it was very successful to look at the R3L, talk to Imogen, and we're going to try to get some things rolling on that. The master street plan, once again, is available. All these things, if you guys have any questions, we do try to do our due diligence and get everything out in front of you ahead of time. But if you've got anything coming up, please let us know. Building report, activity reports listed here are projects. I kind of updated everything that is marked in yellow on our projects that have been finalized or waiting to be a few things done on the punch list. So trying to give you an update on where we're at on some of these things.
Anything?
Nope.
You don't have anything?
Nope, not at all.
Mark, you got anything? You got anything for us that you want to ask or anything? You good? I mean, you don't have to comment on anything. Just,
No, I was just telling Larry that, there's a lot of discussion going on regarding the landfill, that you guys are talking about. And I will tell you, one of the things that I noticed about the landfill, and I don't know if you guys have been down to the South Penalto lift station, but don't go down there, believe me. I mean, when people can't even live down there and have to go live in Bentonville because of the fumes coming out of that lift station, do you realize that leachate is not treated at the waste management? There should have been a pretreatment requirement for them before it's released into the city sewer. That stuff is nasty. We've got We're testing all of that. If you see the test results of that, it's unbelievable. So James and I are meeting with the NACA group tomorrow, trying to convince them that they need to require Waste Management to build a pretreatment facility on their site, which should have been done a long time ago. That's an industry.
Is that, I'm just asking, is that a city requirement or is that state?
Require pretreatment. Silent Springs had 12 industries that require pretreatment before you can even dump into the sewer. So that's what we're working on.
Okay.
Okay.
I've seen the emails. Can you explain, what is that exactly? So what does the lift station do? Is there material that's outside of pipes that can be smelled?
Well,
What is that
it's
exactly?
coming into a basin. I mean, it's a big, huge, major deal that pumped into that, and then the city pumps that back into their sewer system.
And that's leachate from the landfill?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Raw. And it's destroying the actual lift station. If you can imagine, that's a lot of acid in that.
How much does that cost the city to treat that?
Well, that's another
Yeah.
problem. City's not charging enough to be able to maintain that lift station from
Right.
Waste Management.
But
And
NACA's
we're
charging
going
us
to
for the
be-
waste.
We're looking at that very strongly.
Now, is that hauled to the sewage?
No, it's pumped. It's pumped directly from their system. They have 2 holding tanks out there. I think they're 100,000 gallons.
Waste
maybe.
Management has 2 holding tanks?
Yeah, of their leachate. And then they basically pump that into our system that goes down to the South Penalto lift station.
And then it goes to the
And then
sewers?
it's pumped into our system,
Okay.
which is actually up here by, I believe it goes into the South Point, and then it's pumped into Morsani where it's gravity flowing area. So that's where a lot of what I say is the smells and irritations that people are having right now. Just my comment.
Any good news?
Good news?
Yeah. Anything good?
Bandini.
Bandini's done. It looks good.
Fire truck can get out safely.
Yeah, fire truck.
Thanks for your help on that grant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, that was all Mark.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we got both of them done.
Thank you.
Free 300,000, right?
Okay, y'all able to see the activity report and the projects report? Do you have any questions on it? Donnie, you look like you want to say something about it. No, you're good? Okay. If not, then I will ask for comments. Donnie, do you have any comments for tonight?
Well, yes, I do. Trying to keep up with Josh. A quote.
I might have to change my quote.
People tend to think that other people will forget the bad stuff they say to them, but there is no expiration date for disrespect.
Who?
Who said that?
Ain't no who, it's just
Johnny
a
said
general
that.
term. A general term.
Well, thank you for that.
No expiration date for disrespect. It's always there.
That's it. James?
No comments at this time.
Josh?
Might pick a different one, but war should never be entered upon until every agency of peace has failed. William McKinley.
Very good. Is that it?
That's it.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay, so we will be looking forward to the, thanks for coming out. Appreciate you. And Larry, thanks for coming. We do appreciate you coming out too tonight. Gracing our presence with city councils.
He doesn't know where he's at.
I'm looking for the.
No, we are so appreciative of it. We will be looking forward to the R3L, the master street plan, the 412 overlay, the waste management 153.086, the addresses added to the comments, and I think that's it. And other than that, that's all I have. I will ask for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.